Good evening. It's now 7 o'clock, and the Bel Air Board of Town Commissioners Town Hall meeting is now in session. I am going to call the roll. Commissioner Rutledge?
Here.
Commissioner Chismar?
Here.
Commissioner Taylor?
Here.
And Commissioner Chance?
Here.
All right. If you will all please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. First on our agenda is the approval of the agenda. May I have a motion, please?
Yes, Madam Chair, I'd like to make the motion for approval of tonight's meeting of October the 20th, 2025, here at the Town Hall.
Thank you, Commissioner Chance. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Taylor. Is there any discussion or changes to this evening's agenda? No? All right, Mr. Krantz?
Thank you, Madam Chair, for approval of this evening's agenda. Bel Air Board of Town Commissioners, October 20th, 2025. Commissioner Rutledge.
Aye.
Commissioner Chismar.
Aye.
Commissioner Taylor.
Aye.
Commissioner Chance.
Aye.
And Chair Edding.
Aye.
Tonight's agenda is approved. Thank you.
Thank you. Next on our agenda, we have the presentation. No, wait a minute. First, we have the approval of the minutes. And may I have a motion?
Yes, Madam Chair, I move that the minutes of the Board of Commissioners meetings held on September 30th, 2025 and October 6th, 2025 be approved as submitted.
Thank you, Commissioner Taylor. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Commissioner Chismar. Any discussion or corrections to the minutes this evening? All right, seeing none. Mr. Krantz.
Thank you, Madam Chair, for approval of the minutes of September 30th and October 6th. Commissioner Rutledge.
Aye.
Commissioner Chismar.
Aye.
Commissioner Taylor.
Aye.
Commissioner Chance.
Aye.
And Chair Edding.
Aye.
The minutes are approved. Thank you.
All right, now moving on to presentations. First, we have the Economic Development Week proclamation. All right, if you could all join me here at the podium. To accept tonight's proclamation, we welcome Pam Ruff, who has served as Executive Director of the Maryland Economic Development Association, or MEDA, since 2000. MEDA is a statewide professional membership organization of more than 500 public and private professionals dedicated to bringing jobs and investment to Maryland. We're so pleased to have Pam joining us this evening to accept this proclamation alongside our Director of Economic Development, Angela Robertson. So, Angela and Pam, we have this proclamation proclaiming Economic Development Week. Whereas the Town of Bel Air Office of Economic Development is an active member of the Maryland Economic Development Association, a nonprofit organization established in 1961, whose mission is to enhance the knowledge and skills of its members, encourage partnerships and networking among people committed to bringing jobs and capital to Maryland, and promote economic development initiatives as an investment in Maryland. And whereas its members promote the economic well-being of Maryland by working to improve the state's business climate and the professionalism of those in the field of economic development, including other professionals with an interest in the economy of Maryland, and through its educational meetings, special programs, and community-driven projects, members address diverse issues. And whereas the economic growth and stability of the state affects all regions and jurisdictions of Maryland, and the Town of Bel Air is an important component of the state's economic success, and will continue to contribute to its success by working in partnership with local, state, and regional partners, and heretofore takes this opportunity to acknowledge its gratitude for those economically supportive relationships. Now, therefore, the Board of Town Commissioners of Bel Air, Maryland, hereby proclaim the week of October 20th through October 24th, 2025, as Economic Development Week. So, accept that proclamation, and it's very nice to have you here this evening. And it's always nice to see you. And I think
You want to hang on to that camera?
Angela has a few words for us.
Thank you so much for recognizing this week as Economic Development Week here in Bel Air. It's a great time to really appreciate our local businesses and provide support to them this week through recognition of milestone anniversaries and our annual awards ceremony. We really appreciate the projects that we have going on in Bel Air and our continued community partnerships that just urge us on to do more work that we do every day in our Economic Development Department. So we appreciate your support, and thank you for the recognition.
Thank you. Now, photo ops for all of us. All right, our next presentation will be to Commissioner James B. Rutledge III. Oops. And I have left my remarks at the podium, so we'll start with the proclamation. Whereas James B. Rutledge III was elected as a member of the Bel Air Board of Town Commissioners in November of 2023, and whereas over nearly 2 years, Commissioner Rutledge has been a dedicated member of the town board, working on legislation related to matters such as historic preservation, economic development, and residential growth. And whereas Commissioner Rutledge took the lead in crafting Ordinance 846-25, which established regulations for the operation of short-term rentals in the town's business and industrial zoning districts, a process that included consultation with the Economic and Community Development Commission and Planning Commission. And whereas Commissioner Rutledge, the town's board's liaison to the Historic Preservation Commission, collaborated with the members of the HPC to craft Ordinance 848-25. That legislation establishes a 25% tax credit for property owners who go the extra mile when making improvements that preserve the historic character of their home or business that has been designated as a historic structure. And whereas in addition to serving as an elected official, Commissioner Rutledge practices law full-time at his firm, Jim Rutledge Esquire LLC, right here in Bel Air, and has a strong record of civic leadership as a youth lacrosse coach and officer in community organizations such as the Lions Club. And whereas we thank Commissioner Rutledge for his service as a town commissioner and wish him the best in his future endeavors, now we, the Bel Air Board of Town Commissioners, hereby proclaim October 20th, 2025 as the day we celebrate Commissioner James B. Rutledge III. So, congratulations. And he doesn't get his few moments at the podium just yet. While we do have a proclamation, I had a few personal remarks to make on behalf of the board and myself. We've been incredibly fortunate to have Jim serve on the board for the past 2 years. His thoughtful leadership, deep legal expertise, and steady commitment to our community have made a lasting impact, and he will be truly missed. Jim has been a driving force behind important legislation, including the expansion of the tax credit for historic preservation and restoration, a measure we proudly will be passing this evening. His dedication to preserving the character and history of Bel Air has left a meaningful legacy. We've also greatly benefited from Jim's legal knowledge during complex discussions, from state-level land use legislation affecting nonprofit development of affordable housing to issues like tax deductions for landowners. His insight has helped guide us through challenging topics with clarity and confidence. While we'll certainly feel the loss of his specialized knowledge and perspective, we know where he works and we know where he lives. So he may just find himself serving as an unofficial emeritus member of the board. We're not letting him off the hook that easily. Bel Air is a small town, and I know our paths will cross again, hopefully often. On behalf of the entire board and the residents of Bel Air, thank you, Jim, for your service and your dedication.
Thank you.
Thank you. And now it's Jim's turn at the podium, with no 3-minute limit.
Mayor Edding, thank you very much. I appreciate that, and I wanted to state for the record as a matter of background that my resignation from the commission will become effective at 1 minute after midnight tonight on the 21st of October, so that I may finish out my last evening as a full member of the commission. I was really blown away and surprised by receiving the proclamation here this evening. I didn't anticipate that or expect that, learned about it over the weekend, and I'm very grateful to receive it. Very kind words from such a dedicated group of people, such wonderful folks here in the town. And the first thing I'd like to do, though, is I'd like to thank the people of Bel Air, the voters of Bel Air, for giving me the opportunity to serve you. And I know that many of you take advantage of watching us on television, on YouTube, and I'm grateful that you're out there. I'm grateful for the times that the public has turned out and spoken their minds here. It's been a great collaboration to be a representative of the people of Bel Air along with the other 4 commissioners. Second, though, I'd like to thank the commissioners. I'd like to thank you for your engaging dialogue on different topics. I would like to thank you for your thoughtful leadership and also for being an example of how a government can run by committee, wrestle through at times very difficult and divisive issues, different opinions, and still come out on the other end of it with dignity. And I would hope that that example would continue on, and I'm confident that it will. I'd like to thank the town employees for their expertise, for their demonstrated dedication and their hard work, because there is no substitute in life but for hard work. It is the critical element. And the employees of the town of Bel Air, I've learned more and more over the past 2 years, are a really dedicated bunch. And the citizens of Bel Air may not really realize how hard they work and how good they are at what they do across all of the departments. I'd like to thank the town administrator, Eddie Hopkins. I'd like to thank the town clerk, Michael Krantz. And I'd like to thank all of the directors, all of the leaders of each of the divisions, because you've demonstrated expertise, you've demonstrated great forbearance, and you've demonstrated a dedication to your teams. In the last 2 years, I have not received a single complaint from any employee or heard through the grapevine about an employee complaining about their department heads or their deputy department heads. None. But finally, I would like to give thanks to my Lord, the King and Creator of the universe, who has blessed me with a life that has been a mixture of opportunity and responsibility, who has granted me the wisdom to see changes in life as new opportunities and to see failures as a springboard for success, who has granted me the courage to choose the road less traveled when I find myself at the fork in the road in the forest of life, to paraphrase the great American poet, Robert Frost. May the Lord bless you all and grant you the desires of your hearts. May he grant peace and prosperity to the people of this town, this county, this great state, and these United States of America. Madam Chair, I yield. Thank you. Sit down yet?
Pictures,
Pictures?
as always.
Jim?
Yes, we're going to have a photo with everybody.
Yeah, that'd be great.
With everybody.
Everybody.
Group photo.
You guys, you guys move forward.
Madam Chair, if I might say a word, I am particularly aggrieved by this loss. I will miss Commissioner Rutledge sitting up here a great deal. I have his phone number, so he can't run for me. But Jim is somebody who I campaigned with, who I was elected with, who I have served with, who I really got to know over the past 2 years and change, as a steadfast servant, as a brilliant lawyer, and as a good man. And he is somebody that I am proud to not just know as a colleague and not just to consider a friend, but really to consider a brother. And I will miss him terribly much sitting up here on this board with us. But I know that he has excellent things in store, both in his personal professional pursuits and endeavors, and also with his family, who he really values above all else. And I'm looking forward to seeing him around, but I would be lying if I said I'm not going to be sad that I won't be seeing him quite as much as we have been these past 2 years, just about once a week. That was not enough, Jim Rutledge, for me, and I feel like I'll be going through a little bit of withdrawal. So, Jim, my congratulations are with you. I will miss you, and I will see you soon.
Thanks, Jake. I echo a lot of what Jake said. I mean, Jim, we started out campaigning together 2 years ago. I think that's when we first met, and really enjoyed your company. It's been a pleasure serving with you. Your knowledge of the law, something that I don't really have, was very instrumental for me, and you were very good at explaining some of the legal issues and terms as we discussed topics offline and all. So I really appreciate that. You are going to be missed, although I will still see you at least once a week at ShopRite, as we always seem to run into each other there when you're trying to pick up something for dinner, as am I. So anyway, we won't be strangers.
I would like to say just a few words. I would like to ditto what has already been said. I appreciate your thoughtfulness and your gentle way of presenting the issues that we have to deal with. I admire and respect you so much, and I will miss you terribly. Really, truly, I will. Hate to see you leave, but we do know where you live and work.
Thank you, Mary.
You're welcome.
Appreciate that
You're
very
welcome.
much.
You're
Yeah.
welcome. Thank you.
All right. Now on to the business at hand. First, we have the public hearing for ordinance 847-25 to amend Chapter 10 Boards, Commissions, and Committees, Article 2, Economic and Community Development Commission, Section 10-5, Membership, Terms of Office, compensation, officers, meetings, and quorum. Is there any member of the public here this evening that wishes to comment on this ordinance? There being none, we have opened and closed the public hearing at 7:20 PM. Moving on to the next public hearing, it's ordinance 848-25, amending the Town of Bel Air, Maryland Code, Chapter 246, Historic Preservation, Section 246-6D, Certificate of Approval, and Chapter 50, Finance and Taxation, Article 1, Financial Matters, Section 50-4, Tax Credit for Historic Restoration and Preservation. It is 7:20 PM. Is there any member of the public here this evening who wishes to comment on this ordinance? All right, seeing none, we will close the public hearing at 7:20. Next, we have the public hearing for ordinance 849-25, acceptance by the board of the deed to the North Shamrock Road Sewer Pumping Station. It's 7:20 PM. Is there any member of the public here this evening who wishes to comment on this ordinance? And seeing no one, we will close the public hearing at 7:21. All right, moving on to unfinished business. First, we have ordinance 847-25 to amend Chapter 10, Boards, Commissions, and Committees, Article 2, Economic and Community Development Commission, Section 10-5, Membership, Terms of Office, Compensation, Officers, Meetings, Quorum. May I have a motion?
Yes, Madam Chair, I move that ordinance number 847-25, amending the Code of the Town of Bel Air, Chapter 10, Article 2, Section 5, entitled Economic and Community Development Commission Membership, Terms of Office, Compensation, Officers, Meetings, Quorum, be approved by the Bel Air Board of Town Commissioners.
Thank you, Commissioner Taylor. Do I have a second?
Yes, Madam Chair, I'll second.
Thank you, Commissioner Chismar. And
This is a housekeeping item, the
correct.
particulars of which I will allow Director Robertson to share with us now.
Thank you. The members of the Economic and Community Development Commission, whose mission is to promote and support economic development in the town of Bel Air, have recommended updates to the code to change their quorum from 3 to a majority of members and to change their number of meeting times per year that are required to 8. In addition, language regarding the terms of members appointed and upon the establishment of the commission have been simplified since the commission has been in existence. And the staff recommends that proposed ordinance 847-25 be approved by the Board of Town Commissioners.
Thank you, Director Robertson. Is there any questions for the director at this point on this piece of legislation? All right. In that case, Mr. Krantz, we're ready.
Thank you, Madam Chair. For the vote on ordinance 847-25, Commissioner Rutledge,
Aye.
Commissioner Chismar,
Aye.
Commissioner Taylor,
Aye.
Commissioner Chance,
Aye.
and Chair Edding.
Aye.
The ordinance is approved. Thank you.
All right. Next, we have ordinance 848-25, amending the Town of Bel Air, Maryland Code, Chapter 246, Historic Preservation, Section 246-6D, Certificate of Approval, and Chapter 50, Finance and Taxation, Article 1, Financial Matters, Section 50-4, Tax Credit for Historic Restoration and Preservation. And I cannot actually find the motion in my book.
Madam Chair, I'd be happy to make,
There you
happy to
go.
make a motion.
Great. Thank you.
Madam Chair, I move that ordinance number 848-25, amending the Town of Bel Air Code, Chapter 50, Finance and Taxation, and Chapter 246, Historic Preservation, be approved by the Bel Air Board of Town Commissioners.
And do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Taylor. And is anyone going to present on this again, or?
But Madam Chair, we've talked about this bill extensively, and it is the bill that's going to allow for really the reward and the incentive for homeowners that are in the historic, program here in Bel Air to be able to do particular period type of improvements, upgrades and improvements to the preservation status of their houses, and apply to the Historic Preservation Commission to receive a 25% tax credit. And anything that any of the other directors would like to add to that, I'd be happy to hear from them, but I'm
very grateful to be able to have shepherded this through. It was not my brainchild, it was the brainchild of the Historic Preservation Commission members, and they had worked on it extensively, and I know we're going to be very pleased when this is passed.
Thank you. I know I've heard from at least one member of the public that's looking forward to this in order to purchase some new windows, which are very expensive when you're following the historic rules. All right, any questions? All right, Mr. Krantz?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is for the vote to approve ordinance 848-25. Commissioner Rutledge.
Aye.
Commissioner Chismar.
Aye?
Commissioner Taylor.
Aye.
Commissioner Chance.
Aye.
And Chair Edding.
Aye.
The ordinance is approved. Thank you.
All right. Next, we have ordinance 849-25, acceptance by the board of the deed to the North Shamrock Road Sewer Pumping Station. May I have a motion?
Yes, Madam Chair. I move that the Board of Town Commissioners approve ordinance number 849-25 and formally accept the grant in fee simple of the parcel designated as the fee simple lot for the Town of Bel Air Pumping Station as depicted on amended final Plat 1, Section 4, Harford Woods, recorded in Plat Book number 39, Folio 43, Harford County Land Records.
Thank you, Commissioner Chismar. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Rutledge. Thank you, Commissioner Rutledge. All right. Mr. Klein.
Thanks, Madam Chair. I have really nothing else to add to this, the process. I put it before you last week to introduce, and nothing's really changed. The staff recommends that you do approve this ordinance tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Klein. It's a really important thing to sort of tidy up our paperwork here on this, since we've sunk a lot of money into this pumping station.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right,
Yep.
thank you. Any questions for Mr. Klein or comments on this project? All right, Mr. Krantz.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is for the vote to approve ordinance 849-25. Commissioner Rutledge.
Aye.
Commissioner Chismar.
Aye?
Commissioner Taylor.
Aye.
Commissioner Chance.
Aye.
And Chair Edding.
Aye.
The ordinance is approved. Thank you.
All right, under new business, we have Resolution 1260-25, holiday parking, temporarily suspending parking fines and meter rates on all public streets in the town of Bel Air from December 15th, 2025 through December 26th, 2025. May I have a motion?
Yes, Madam Chair. I move that resolution number 1260-25, temporarily suspending parking fines and meter rates, thereby providing free parking at on-street metered parking spaces on all public streets in the town of Bel Air from December 15th, 2025 through December 26th, 2025, be approved by the Board of Town Commissioners.
Thank you, Commissioner Chismar. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Chance.
Sorry.
All right. And presenting this evening is Ms. Robertson. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It has been customary to provide free parking in the town of Bel Air at the on-street metered spaces throughout the town during the holiday season to facilitate and encourage more citizens to patronize our downtown businesses, shops, and restaurants during the busy holiday season. This year, town staff recommends providing free parking at on-street metered parking spaces on all public streets in the town from December 15th through December 26th, 2025. The staff does recommend that resolution number 1260-25 be approved by the Bel Air Board of Town Commissioners.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, we had some discussion about this last week, and we received a little bit of business feedback from Director Robertson. I mentioned last week that I met the shortening of the time frame with some skepticism, but what I thought was particularly poignant from much of the business feedback that we received was the difficulty in verbalizing and making clear that 10 or 11-day window from the 15th to the 26th. And in light of that, I think that it's probably best for us, given the relatively minor fiscal impact of pushing the beginning of this merry holiday exemption that we have traditionally done back to Thanksgiving. I am going to make a motion that each instance of December 15th, 2025 in this resolution be replaced with November 27th, 2025. For those of you playing at home, that is Thanksgiving Day.
Second.
Any discussion of the amendment? I agree.
agree.
I know we got a lot of business feedback where people really didn't want to have this shortened, and in light of the really pretty unanimous feeling amongst the business community, that they weren't happy with such a short period of time, I think we should amend it.
I think Thanksgiving to Christmas is an appropriate timeframe, and because of when Christmas is, it's on a Thursday, this goes the day after Christmas, really you have until Monday the 29th for effective free parking in the town, which I think is appropriate.
I think that's a reasonable time frame to limit it to, and it'll help the businesses out, which it's a tough year. All right, so we
Okay.
need, go ahead.
No, I agree with that, with those dates. I like those dates. The other thing I wanted to discuss tonight was toying with the idea of going with a maximum of 2-hour limit. I know several store owners have voiced the opinion that sometimes people park there all day, and they're not there for that. So I think we do something maybe 2 hours or 4 hours. I think we ought to put a time limit on it.
I think we need to ask the chief, is that is enforceable? If it's doable.
Well,
I mean, I think it's doable, but we might have to consider some logistical stuff around that to make sure that we do it the right way, you know? So can you go over the details of what you would like again? I'm copying some notes down here. Do you want to extend it past the 2-hour limit?
I think the
Just
idea was to
minor.
limit it to
Yeah,
either
limit
2
it
hours or
or
4
limit to 3
hours.
hours.
I mean, 2 hours 2 hours should be sufficient for most lunch venues and things like that, restaurants up there, and for some of the shopping. But if you do a lunch venue and then do some shopping, then you may go into the maybe longer than the 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I'm, thinking, I'm debating 2 to 4.
Is either one, I mean, does it make a difference whether it's 2 or 4 for
No,
your
no,
purposes, chief?
It doesn't for the typical citizen. Now, keep in mind that handicap gets double what the meter is allowed. So if it's 2 hours, what they normally get, they get 4. So just, we could keep them in mind too.
So if it's 4 hours, they get 8?
It'll be an open.
No.
Okay, it's just a meter.
Yeah. mhm.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So
I
would
think
that
it's
then,
doable.
in effect, make each street parking in the town really just 2-hour parking?
Or 4, yeah.
Or 4?
Or 4,
Right.
however we want to go.
Yeah.
I'm debating, that's what I'm trying to look at. I don't want to
So we're
I
not.
don't want to
provi-
make it too tight on the residents
Sure.
and shoppers to come in and all, but.
I don't know
just
how
wanna
many
stop the-
people come into town and pay the meter like to park there all day, but they would not be able to do that, is what we're saying, for the month of December.
Well,
Yeah,
correct.
right, because there's no way to
Effectively
say
a
if
month
you
of
want to
December.
pay to park here all day,
Right.
that would be way too complicated. I don't know how many people actually do that, but that was just what I was thinking, is that would in effect make every parking space that we're talking about a 2-hour parking space.
If I may just add that what our Economic Development Department staff, along with parking enforcement staff, does to advertise the free parking initiative is to place the postcards over top of the coin insert and tie a
Right.
bow. We could certainly add language on there that recommends a 2-hour or 4-hour, whatever you decide, limit, but I would defer to Chief on whether or not that then becomes enforceable. And I think that, Kevin, we do have the different meters in town. Some have different lengths of time that are permissible to begin with.
Right.
Yeah, it's down to, Main Street's 2 hours right now.
I would recommend that, maybe this is something we could study in terms of making a policy for next year, but in terms of making this decision, I would recommend that we not enforce a limit. I do think it's perhaps a good idea if the staff of Economic Development could, in their normally very cheery way, add a polite reminder that, at the benefit of other shoppers and other visitors to downtown Bel Air, please limit your use of this spot to whatever we decide. That, I think, would be entirely appropriate, but I'm not sure that we have enough time to figure out the enforceability of making this hard and fast.
To be quite honest, I don't really know how hard they enforce during that period anyway, just for that reason.
Right.
And I don't know if anybody's going to be there. I don't know if they're going to be extending past that time limit. I don't think it's going to be a frequent thing, if it happens at all.
I know the
No.
concern was employees that park and stay there all day.
That is an
And
issue.
I think Commissioner Chismore has a real point, but I'm concerned about
That was the
enforceability.
only issue.
And doing it in such
Well-
a short period of time. I mean, if I were a business owner and I had employees, I'd be like, please do not park at the on-street
think.
parking at the meter
Yep.
because we need people to shop here so we make some money during the Christmas season and you have a job.
And Madam Chair, I do agree with that, and yet each year we encounter certain businesses that allow their employees to park directly in front of their stores at the expense of their neighbors.
Can we put them on the naughty list?
That's a great
And-
idea.
Well, my point is, we may not be able to be very effective at enforcing it, but by stating it, it may keep some people from doing it. Okay? And that's all by labeling that as 2-hour or 4-hour, that in itself can be a deterrent. We don't have to write tickets necessarily, you know, it's good, I know you're not set up to, we're throwing it all at the last minute type of thing, but, you know, I think there may have some value, and if we don't take it, we don't take it.
And for your awareness, it's even difficult now to, they have to take a picture of where basically the valve stem is on the tire, you know, in
Yeah,
order
I
to
know.
see that it's,
That's-
you can't even chalk the tires anymore. It's not,
Right.
it's not or it's not allowed, it's not legally the right thing to do, whatever. But it's not easy to do anyway, so.
Right.
Well, I think maybe where we're headed is we like the amendment for the time, and we're going to leave it to economic development to put a please in the Christmas spirit, you know, kind to everyone else that's looking for a parking space, and limit your time to
You want to say 4 hours?
4 hours.
Just ask for it, yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that. I'd like Commissioner Taylor's idea that, you know, next year you could like get a little bit of a curve up on, I think the offenders are the employees and the
do too.
employers that allow their employees to, you know, abuse the situation. I don't know how to deal with that mindset, but one thing I definitely am sensitive to, Chief, is the fact that you all have your hands full. You've got a lot going on in this town. You're doing a great job, and starting to really make a lot of headway on the problem that we have with the bicycle situation,
Sure.
and then these powered scooters and all that. And I really feel like, and speed enforcement and safety enforcement, I mean, that's really where I feel like in balancing the resources that we would put, I know you guys would do your best, and Angela, your department's got a lot going on as well. I mean, you know, we've got Winter Wonderland, there's just a lot getting ready to happen, and I'd rather allow the departments to maybe plan ahead on that, Steve, a little bit. That's I get your point about if you say it, it may, but I don't think if you say it, it's going to change the attitude necessarily of employers or employees who really don't give a flip about
Right.
the economic
Well-
development side of what's going on here with the free parking. So I think it's a great point, but I hate to put up signs saying something that at least once in a while we're not going to enforce. It's like telling teenagers, you know, don't do this, and then they can do it 1,000 times and they know mom and dad are going to do nothing. You know, I just rather either if we're going to say we're going to follow a rule, at least some threat of enforcement, and I'd rather not see the staff at this point in time in these departments have to divert their resources to that.
No, I didn't want to again, I just think that even if we just suggest, you know,
Yeah.
be courteous, when we spend, you know, 2 to 4 hours while you're shopping here
I get,
on that.
I think that's a great
If we enforce
point.
it or not, you know, unless, we probably can't enforce it, you know, by saying with,
We can't unless
By
we
doing that.
amend
Yeah,
the.
I'm just saying at least the suggestion of
Yeah,
saying you
I-
should be courteous, 2 to 4 hours, whatever, while you're shopping on Main Street.
Yeah.
As the signage to put up, or the message we should put out. That's all. We're not gonna write tickets on it.
Yeah. I get the point, I'm not persuaded that I would want to have any employees spending their time coming up to speed on this season. I think allow them to work on something in the spring or the summer, when they can assign somebody to make up a little card to collaborate on what it's gonna say. Otherwise, we've got the hoods and the things ready to go. I mean, that's just rinse and repeat from last year, right, Angela?
That's correct. And I did neglect to mention earlier that our department also does, ahead of this taking effect, we do send an email out to all businesses who would be effective that does state, this is for customer parking. So an email does go out stating that, but the cards have never stated that before. But yes, we, right now, actually, we can't use the cards from last year because if you're amending legislation to go through December 26th, the cards now say through New Year's because that's what we did last year. We did Thanksgiving to New Year's.
So you'll be doing new cards anyway?
That is correct. And I really should check what I don't have one of the cards in front of me to see, does the card say New Year's, or is it just the fact that it's there on the
Does it have
meter?
dates, or
that
does it
indica-
just
Right,
say,
or
you
does
know,
it
just
just
say
say
free
free
parking
holiday
till we take it?
parking?
Free holiday parking?
Correct.
Free holiday parking, yeah.
Jake,
do have a
are you
photo.
still in the
I
same
mean-
place?
I don't think that we're losing too terribly much in terms of valuable time, just to ask them to add a sentence about, in the spirit of Christmas, please be courteous and, don't park here all day. I don't think that that's a huge lift. And, if Director Robertson thinks that that's something that could be achieved efficiently, I think that
Mhm.
that's worthwhile. But I'm completely with you on the enforcement aspect.
So you don't want it to say, "Don't be a jerk"?
That might be a little bit harsh.
You think it might be a
Yeah.
little bit harsh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about don't be
A
a
little bit more in the
Grinch?
Christmas spirit.
What?
Don't
How
be a
about don't be a
Grinch.
Grinch?
Don't be a Grinch,
Right, there
something
you go.
like that. I do hope that we can impress upon all the offices that are on Main Street
Mhm.
and the employees to don't be a jerk.
Yeah. I did just pull up a photo from last year's cards, and they have said free parking Thanksgiving through New Year's Day, on-street metered spaces only, happy holidays. So we would need to have them reprinted regardless, unless we're doing Thanksgiving to New Year's.
Well, I would think a 4-hour limit would blunt, it would let people have plenty of time, but it would be a clear message to the employees, they've only got 4 hours. If they're gonna abuse it. I could do that. So where do we stand on the motions as we said?
The motion was to change the time period from Christmas to November 27th?
From December 15th to
I'm
November
sorry,
27th.
December 15th
Yes.
to November 27th, which would actually effectively be that, since that's a Friday, till the Monday following, because we don't have that.
The 27th is actually Thanksgiving Day,
Thanksgiving Day.
but yes.
Okay. But we are not including any time period, thereby alleviating the enforcement issue. It will just be in the spirit of Christmas, please limit your time to 4 hours, or some such language on the card. So it's not enforceable because it's not part of the statute. So we won't be wasting any enforcement energy on that. We're just going to make the request that you be polite and not stay here all day.
Yeah, okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
All right. So now we're ready to vote on the amendment?
We need to-
We had a motion and a second.
Okay. Do we
Discussion,
need another amendment?
No.
No.
because we're just changing
That's what
the
she was saying,
dates.
yeah.
Well, we only have the one amendment, so.
She was saying they've got the prerogative
All right.
to put that language on there.
This is to vote on the motion to amend Resolution 1260-25 from December 15th, 2025, to read November 27th, 2025 through December 26th, 2025. Commissioner Rutledge,
Aye.
Commissioner Chismar,
Aye.
Commissioner Taylor,
Aye.
Commissioner Chance,
Aye.
and Chair Edding.
Aye.
The resolution is amended.
All right, and now we need to vote on the amended resolution 1260-25. Mr. Krantz?
Yep, thank you. To vote on 1260-25 as amended, Commissioner Rutledge,
Aye.
Commissioner Chismar,
Aye.
Commissioner Taylor,
Aye.
Commissioner Chance,
Aye.
and Chair Edding.
Aye.
The resolution is passed. Thank you.
All right. Now on to something that I think will be much simpler. The Bel Air Police Department Patrol Vehicle Accessory Package Contract. May I have a motion?
Yes, Madam Chair, I move that the quote from Global Public Safety Corporation, GPS, for the purchase of patrol vehicle accessory packages and installs for 4 2025 marked Ford Explorer SUV all-wheel drive interceptors in the amount of $87,690.80 be accepted by the Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, Commissioner Taylor. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Chance. All right, Chief.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Commissioners. Global Public Safety, GPS, is a custom vehicle upfitting company that performs specialized installs and purchases of public safety accessories for patrol vehicles. The company has been awarded numerous valid contracts after being involved in the bidding process with many governmental entities. The accessory packages needed for the FY26 purchase of the Bel Air Police Department patrol vehicles include patrol vehicle necessities such as law enforcement radio, consoles, interior, exterior lighting packages, sirens, grill lights, prisoner cages, weapon vaults, etc. Installs of the accessory packages and decal packages by GPS will also be performed on the 4 marked patrol vehicles. The town's procurement regulations allows for cooperative purchases or piggybacking with other public jurisdictions' governmental entities. The valid quotes for the install purchases of the patrol vehicle accessory packages from GPS is attached, in addition to a copy of the valid contract awarded to GPS from Prince George's County Government Contract 4400007324. This contract was awarded to GPS based on competitive bids and expires on November 12, 2025. The purchase and installs for these vehicles will provide the Bel Air Police Department with new patrol vehicle accessory packages for 3 replacement vehicles and for 1 new addition to the fleet. There will be a total of 4 accessory package purchases for Car 15, a 2015 Ford sedan with 70,000 miles, Car 21, a 2015 Ford sedan with over 76,000 miles, Car 32, a 2013 sedan with 87,000 miles, and Car 40, which is a new addition to the fleet. The agenda for the vehicle purchases was approved by the Commissioners at the August 18, 2025 Town Hall meeting. The amount budgeted for this purchase is actually $104,000. The staff recommends that the Board of Town Commissioners approves the bid from GPS for the purchase and install of the aforementioned vehicle accessory packages in the amount of $87,690.80. Thank you. Any questions?
My only question, it's a little confusing here where like car 15 is a 10-year-old. We're replacing these cars
Yes, ma'am.
with brand-new cars.
Correct.
It's sort of read like we were putting the new packages on the old cars, and I know we
Oh, I'm
approved some new
sorry.
cars. That's
Yeah.
okay. It was just a little confusing, but we are putting the new packages on the new cars that we already approved.
Yes, ma'am, correct.
All right, great.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Any other questions for the chief? All right. Is there any member of the public that wishes to comment on this patrol vehicle accessory package contract?
I did have one question for the
Yes,
chief.
sir.
Can you do my shopping for me?
I could probably
With
handle
that kind of savings?
It's good savings, isn't it?
That's a real significant
There's a lot of
savings.
trimming on that over the past several months, so
Yeah.
GPS has been very,
Congratulations on that.
very helpful in partnering with us in this, getting it done. Thank you, sir.
All right. I think we're ready for our vote. Mr. Krantz.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is for the vote to approve the Bel Air Police Department Patrol Vehicle Accessory Package Contract. Commissioner Rutledge,
Aye.
Commissioner Chismar,
Aye.
Commissioner Taylor,
Aye.
Commissioner Chance,
Aye.
and Chair Edding.
Aye.
The contract is approved. Thank you.
Next, we have miscellaneous, discuss the Town of Bel Air, Maryland Code, Chapter C, Charter Article 3, the Board of Commissioners, Section 307, vacancies on the board. All right. I think this is you, Ms. Thompson. Is it?
So while Liz is getting ready, we had discussed this, Mike and I discussed this at length, and we wanted to set up a process for how we handle Commissioner Rutledge's departure and his potential replacement. This really, to our knowledge, has not been done in quite some time, if ever. So Mike and I kind of put our heads together and came up with a sort of a plan on how to move forward, and we involved Liz a little bit of the discussion on how we would go through with the process. So Mike has kind of part of this in terms of the press release that's in your package and the fillable form that we've added to the website, if that's a direction the commissioners choose to go. And what we would need to also determine for the commissioners is a go-live date. So let me turn to Mike, if I may,
I could
Madam
add,
Chair,
yeah.
first.
I could just add briefly and in short, according to the town charter, when there are 3 or more commissioners remaining in the office, the board may appoint a qualified individual to fill that vacancy. So with 4 commissioners currently serving, it's my assumption that the board will proceed with the appointment process. And in doing so, I've created a press release that explains that very portion of the charter. I've created a online application for interested citizens who might be interested in serving out the remainder of Commissioner Rutledge's term. And then it'd be up to the board to sort through those applications and interview and select and appoint an individual. The only real qualifications, according to the charter, is that any applicant must be a resident within the municipal limits of the town of Bel Air for at least 6 months, prior to applying, and they must be a registered voter of the state of Maryland, Harford County, and town of Bel Air.
Thank you, Mike. I know we've talked about this a couple of times, and anyone that would be appointed to the vacancy would have to fill out the financial disclosure form, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay, and I just did read this, but I don't think I saw that in here.
You're right, in my initial draft, I did not reference that, and I certainly can.
I only want to put it in because sometimes people really don't want to fill that out, and I understand and appreciate that, but you have to sit here, so if, I would like them to know up front that this is what you have to fill out,
Yeah.
and if you're not interested, that's okay.
Thank you for saying that. I can even include it as a link
I think that would be
in the
great,
press release.
because then they can see
Because
the
people can
exact.
see, it has dissuaded, unfortunately, some individuals because they feel it's an overreach in
It's
their-
invasive, it's asking nosy questions about
Yeah,
your
it's
finances, I
very,
get
very,
that.
very, very invasive questions about personal finances, which, if I may, for those listening at home, these questions are required for elected officials in the state of Maryland. So it's not
Right,
as
it's
if
not just
the
the town
town
board.
is imposing this on anyone. It's a standard ethical financial disclosure expectation for elected officials. So, but it is quite lengthy, and I will absolutely link to it and reference it.
All right. And for anyone that's listening, I don't think it's terribly lengthy. It looks worse
Right.
than it is. And I'm
Right.
sure the town clerk will be happy to help you if you have any questions about what it means or what it's asking for. It's kind of intimidating to
Yeah.
look at, but
When I first ran, only like 3 of the pages applied to me. That's changed a little bit since then, but the more complicated your finances are, the more pages you'll have to fill out.
that is correct.
Yeah. Regarding a go-live date, Administrator Hopkins, I would say first thing tomorrow, the beginning of business hours tomorrow morning, if Commissioner Rutledge's resignation takes effect at 12:01 a.m. Tonight, or rather tomorrow morning, if we're being precise. There will, of course, be no one here at 12:01 a.m., and so the seat will lie vacant for about 8 hours with no action. But then I think as soon as we have, somebody in here who can press post and do what needs to be done, I think that that's the best way to do it.
I think, Mike, did we settle on a close date for the applications? I think that was the only other thing from the board we weren't quite sure of. when we
Mike?
talked.
I had just
sorry.
randomly suggested 30 days. So the 20th through the 19th would be 30 days. If we do the 21st through the 20th, that would be 30 days.
I think that's appropriate.
I do too. I think 30 days
30
is
days.
good. And Mike did make the deadline in the middle of the day, so he'll be here. If there's any last-minute candidates running in, he
Right,
can
I did-
accept
I
them.
did want to be able to be on site to quote-unquote turn off the application,
Right.
and we can then look at the applications. I can review and disseminate them accordingly.
There you go. All right. I think we have a plan.
Yeah, the only question I had was, I was trying to look up, if you're applying to be a commissioner
Mhm.
as part of, during an election, there's a form you fill out. We're asking here a question on the form for the appointment. Why do you want to be a commissioner, and also to submit a resume? Are those required when you're submitting your application for an election?
Nope.
No,
No.
for an election, the only thing a person does is complete their
Their-
certificate of candidacy and
Right.
complete the financial
Financial
disclosure form.
disclosure.
I think that's for our benefit
Yeah.
as the appointing
It-
body.
yes.
And
Yes.
we're not getting any legal issues about asking it for an appointment versus, asking something more for this situation that we would normally ask for an election.
No, because, first of all, the requirements are what Mike said, other than the ethical ones. And then from that point, the board has really a lot of discretion as to
Okay.
what it does. You can't say, okay, well, you gotta be a registered Republican, or, you just donate so much money or own property. You can't add that kind of a requirement, but you could at least ask, hey, who are you? What do you do? These are kind of things that sort of normally come out in your candidacy, that's what you're looking for. And of course, no discriminatory kind of stuff,
Right.
but that's self-benefit, so. But you should be fine, just asking
Okay.
for a basic resume, like, who are you? What do you do?
Right.
That kind of thing. So, and why do you want to be on the board? It's kind of a generic question again, why did you guys run for, your seats? They don't have the opportunity to run a candidacy, obviously, so,
To run
yeah,
a campaign, right?
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I look
Okay.
at this as, sort of the replacement for the election period, where you
For your
put
campaign,
your
yeah.
information out there, people
Correct.
ask you questions, it sort of gets fleshed out during a campaign. We don't want to have the benefit of that, so we need to have somebody tell us who they are and what they,
At risk of getting too philosophical, really what's happening is we, in our capacity as elected officials and elected representatives, are stepping in for the people in lieu of a
Correct.
special election to represent them to pick their next
Right.
representative.
Yeah, for the period
It-
of the term
Right.
that's
Right.
existing, so.
Okay. So we're going to leave it open for 30 days for
correct.
the application.
And we're going to put in there that, if you will have to fill out the financial disclosure form to have the seat here.
Correct.
Just so people know.
And then just so people know that we were going to have these interviews of each of the candidates, requesting each to come in for an interview.
I guess we can interview or not interview.
Yeah,
We can actually,
you can,
we can actually do nothing, put names in a
Yeah.
hat and pull them out.
exactly,
I
you
mean, I
have,
wouldn't
Right.
recommend that, but
Yeah.
there's really like almost no rules.
Again, I just want to be open to the potential
Well, I'm
candidates that.
assuming we won't get 50 applicants, but if there
Right.
were 50 applicants, we may not want to interview all of them.
We may screen them and
We may
then-
screen them,
and-
so I
right.
think all we can decide
Initially,
on
and
right
then
now is
interview
our
them.
first step, which is to ask everybody for an expression of interest, tell us something about yourself, and then we can do the next step. If there's only 3 people, I would say just interview
Just interview,
everyone.
Right.
Yeah.
But if there are, or if there are 5 people and 2 of them don't qualify because they haven't lived in the town, we have the potential for that happening, because often people, because it's on their town mailing, it says Bel Air on their envelope,
Right.
they think they
They
live
live
in
in
town and they
town.
don't, so, we don't want to interview them,
Okay.
they don't qualify. So I think we can only we can only cross one bridge at a time, so we should get the
Agreed.
application going, which we do not have to
Right.
do legally. We
No.
could do none of the sort. We
Yeah.
could, do a completely different tack, but I do think this
Right.
is a good way to go. There could be people out there who just really are not interested in the knocking on doors and running for office, but who are interested in serving the town and would be interested in serving on the board, particularly a 2-year commitment. And then if they like it, they can run, or they have to run.
Right.
Mhm.
And if they
Okay.
said, no, it's not for me, they're done.
Right. Yeah, from my perspective going forward, I would if there are just a few, and they seem to be qualified from their resumes, I would, in my opinion, I would want to have interviews.
So would I. I agree with you 100%.
I would want to interview.
If the
But like you
numbers
said,
got
we get
big-
50, no, we can't do 50 interviews, but we'll screen down.
We'll,
And that's what we've done.
right,
with-
we'll cross that bridge.
Right.
I don't
If
think
it
we're going to
comes
get
to-
50. I
no.
think we'll be lucky if we get 3. But
Correct.
And Madam Chair, the application process was just our way of logistically tracking things.
Right.
So we have information to contact these folks ahead of time.
Exactly.
So it was new. If the application isn't appropriate, we can certainly nix it, but logistically, it just made sense for us to go that direction.
I mean, you do have discretion here. I always like a formalistic, because there's a record. You know how I am about records. What are we doing? How are we doing it? In case a dispute comes up and we're trying to defend something, if that makes sense.
I think it's a good idea to have some kind of process so
Yeah.
that somebody doesn't tell, Commissioner Chismore, hey, I like to serve on the board,
Yeah.
and, tells Commissioner Taylor that, and Commissioner Chance, and we forget 3 of the names that we heard,
Yeah.
This is great.
Yeah.
We'll have everybody actually say, I'm committed, and they'll know what the requirements are,
Mhm.
including that financial disclosure, which sometimes give people heartburn, which I understand. But the state of Maryland mandates it, so we don't have any choices.
Yep.
So I think this is, even though we're not legally required to go this way, I think it's a good way to go. Yes, Mr. Krantz?
Just for clarification then, in terms of the applicant process, would it be the board's expectation that the financial disclosure form is completed simultaneously with submitting the letter and the resume?
That is a good question, because it has occurred to me that when we apply, you're not really listed on the town's website as as a candidate until
I
the Board of
typically-
Ethics has cleared
I
that.
typically allow the Board of Ethics to review, or, I don't allow, the Board of Ethics reviews the financial disclosure form
That's right.
and then gives the approval for the person's candidacy to be ratified, if you will.
So that's going to be another step before we can really get our hands on the applicants.
And I'm just asking,
I'm asking.
would you want that to
Ms.
happen
Thompson.
in advance along with the application? Sort of a qualifier if the application is received without the financial disclosure, is that person disqualified?
I
Or do
think they're
we-
going to have to submit the financial. We need to be consistent across the board. If we ask
Yep.
our candidates to do it, then they
Yeah.
should do it when they apply and have the Board of
Ethics.
Ethics approve it.
Approve it.
Now,
When I-
you may want to, I guess we could take it step by step to see, because as you,
I'll just jump in here and say, in other instances where folks are appointed to elected office, it is not a qualification of appointment to have already completed the ethics disclosure.
Yeah.
I know this from my experience as a member of the Republican Central Committee of Harford County, having recently gone through the appointment of a county council member. I'm sure that eventually got done, but it was not a requirement of the appointment. We may choose that as a board, we think it's wise that that be done in advance, and I think I'm leaning that way myself. But I did want to point it out there that it's not a legal requirement for one to be appointed to office in the state.
correct, but at the same time, it's the board's, the town's previous posture to send your financial disclosures to the Board of Ethics to
Correct.
say, let's go over these and make sure everything is, top notch. We don't have any questions. So, my thought process is to keep it consistent as possible with the candidates to make it fair across the board, if that makes sense.
I like it because why should we interview somebody who
Isn't-
doesn't qualify?
qualify.
Yes,
Or interview somebody who then gets that form and says, no, I'm not doing this.
exactly.
I agree. So,
No. I think the ethics form should be part of the submission of the application.
Yeah,
excellent question, Mr. Krantz.
that's a very good question. So,
I was originally envisioning like a two-step process. They apply, they potentially get interviewed, it looks like they're a finalist, and then as town clerk, I would ask the person, don't forget, you have to complete this financial disclosure form, and then take it before the Board of Ethics, and then if the Board of Ethics ratified it, then I could then confirm to the board, okay, this person has applied, you've interviewed them, you like them, and now the Board of Ethics has verified it. But if you want all that up front, that's fine too.
I think up front is good, and we won't be seeing it. I mean, I know you
Mhm.
can get to see one if you ask, but I would just do the
Right.
usual thing, which is send it to the Board of Ethics,
Ethics.
and we'll
Let us
interview.
know that they're good.
Let us know that they're good, and then
Right.
we'll interview.
when we send out the notice that we are accepting applications, can't you say at that time, oh, we're accepting applications and here are the requirements to, and then they know, even before they send in
Absolutely.
so they know that it's coming. So I think you've already eliminated some people who will say,
We have, you're right.
yeah, so,
I mean, not that this would be an issue, but Kevin pointed out a good point. Maybe we should let the candidates know if they're not going to be selected, that the town will destroy their financial disclosure.
That would also be important, I would
Yeah,
think.
because-
People,
Yeah.
might not want their financial information floating around.
Yeah,
Are candidates who lose the election, is that what happens to their
that's a
disclosure?
good question. Mike, has anyone lost where they had their,
No, I always considered that a portion of filing your candidacy is completing the financial disclosure form, so it's on file.
Okay.
It's a public document.
okay, okay,
Even if you ran and lost, it's still there.
okay. Well, then we'll keep it consistent then.
Yeah.
I'd be happy to destroy them. I just didn't.
Let's not start destroying documents, Mike.
I actually never thought that might be a question. It's an interesting thought. It's an interesting thought.
This is why these things that we never, it'll never happen.
It'll never
We need to
happen,
have
right?
some preparation for those things, because they do happen.
But Michael, as a past member of
Yes.
the Ethics Board, you don't make copies of those. You just bring in the one copy that we had at the Ethics Board meetings, right? And you just maintain one copy.
I have the original.
You have the
I have
original, and there are no
on
copies
file.
ever made, just
I
so
have the
people.
original on
No.
file. If somebody
Right.
wishes to come in and view a financial disclosure form, it's literally what I allow them to do. That the original is brought out,
Right.
they're allowed to view it. I do not make copies.
You do
I
not
do
make
not
copies, right.
disseminate copies.
Just let people
I
know
actually
that.
keep a log of who views it,
Right.
and, no.
And
we
the
don't-
Board of
I-
Ethics doesn't get copies individually. They get
No.
the circulated
Yeah.
one,
He
that-
brings the original.
exactly,
to
and it
the-
goes around, yeah.
And I mean, if we
He still
wanted,
does it.
if we wanted to see it individually, then we could see
Yeah.
it, but he has a summarized version when
Correct.
it comes to the board and, to the Ethics Board, so,
Point
His-
well taken. Thank you.
right.
All right, so we
Okay,
have a
I-
plan.
I think I have a plan. I will add the financial disclosure requirement to the press release as well as to the application. And I'll kind of brainstorm a way to do that either. Nevertheless, it will be accomplished as a one-step process. Application, resume, financial disclosure, all the same simultaneously.
Right. Okay. Moving on, we have the famous public announcements. The Town of Bel Air's 2025 municipal election will be held on Tuesday, November the 4th. 2 seats on the Board of Town Commissioners are up for election. Anyone who wants to cast a ballot on Election Day must be a resident of the Town of Bel Air and registered to vote in Maryland. The polls will be open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. right here in Town Hall. Anyone who wants to vote by absentee or mail-in ballot has until Tuesday, October 28th to request a ballot from the town clerk's office. Absentee or mail-in ballots can be placed in the drop box at the front entrance to Town Hall or submitted by U.S. mail. They must be received or postmarked before the polls close on Election Day. See the town website for additional information. Officers with the Bel Air Police Department will be on hand to greet trick-or-treaters during Trunk or Treat with Harford County's first responders and more on Friday, October 24th at the University of Maryland Upper Chesapeake Medical Center here in Bel Air. That event, hosted by University of Maryland Upper Chesapeake Health, runs from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. in the hospital's Westgate parking lot at 500 Upper Chesapeake Drive. Admission is free, but registration is required. Visit the University of Maryland Upper Chesapeake Health Events webpage to register online. But if you can't make it to Trunk or Treat, why not come out for trick-or-treating in downtown, hosted by the Bel Air Downtown Alliance on Saturday, October 25th. More than 24 participating businesses in the downtown area will be welcoming trick-or-treaters from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Visit the Trick or Treating in Downtown page on the downtownbelair.com website for a full list of participating businesses, or look for the Trick or Treat poster in the storefront the day of the event. There will be a charity children's book sale hosted by the Bel Air Friends of Harford County Public Library on Friday, October 31st, and Saturday, November 1st, at the Bel Air Library at 100 East Pennsylvania Avenue. The sale runs from 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. on both days. All proceeds will support programs and services at the library. The Committee for Seniors and Citizens in Need will meet at 8:30 a.m. Wednesday, October 22nd, in the Bel Air Police Department Community Room. The Historic Preservation Commission will meet at 6 p.m. on Thursday, October 23rd, in Town Hall. And the Board of Town Commissioners will hold a work session at 5:15 p.m. on Tuesday, October 28th, in Town Hall. And the next Town Board meeting will be at 7 p.m. on Monday, November 3rd, also in Town Hall. Did I miss anything? It's
We do
always
have
something.
one more event. We do have authors and artists in the Armory on November 1st, Saturday, November 1st, from 10 to 3.
All right, that's an important one. Christmas is coming. You can come there and start shopping early.
Also, I wanted to add that the Board of Appeals meeting tomorrow night is canceled at the request of the applicant.
Did
And
you want to
that-
get,
That notice is on the front door, correct?
Yep.
So anybody that misses this announcement will see that announcement if they
It-
come.
It's also on the town website.
Great. All right, anything else?
ma'am,
for
did
the-
you want to discuss the municipal academy? I think that's coming up, is it this week?
The graduation is, I'm sorry, the police department is doing a
No,
presentation?
the Citizens Academy, Municipal Citizens Academy. I think it's this Wednesday, right?
Well, those people are
I
signed
didn't know
up.
if you wanted to put that on there or not.
Yeah, those people are signed up, so they should be coming
Okay,
to the
gotcha.
Municipal
Yes,
Citizens
ma'am.
Academy, and then we'll have their graduation. But those folks all know to come to class as scheduled. And we don't want anybody who's not in that class and registered to show up, so that's the most important thing. But they will get an opportunity to sign up for the next round of the Municipal Citizens Academy, which is great fun. All right, now we are at public comments. Is there any member of the public here this evening that wishes to make a public comment on any item, whether it was on this evening's agenda or not? All right, seeing none. Commissioners' comments.
Well, we heard earlier this evening about Economic Development Week. We had two very successful business visits earlier today. The first for celebrating Klein's 100-year anniversary. It's not 100 years in town, but it is 100 years for their business, so we were on hand to celebrate them for their centurion, if you will. We then walked over, the mayor and I walked over. I was very impressed. The mayor walked over in heels down Broadway to visit Brian Michaels State Farm for celebrating 25 years on the same corner in Broadway, which is it's one of my favorite corners in town. I love that intersection of Broadway and Hickory. It's just classic old Bel Air right there. And tomorrow we'll be visiting Savona and Greek Village. I'm looking forward to that.
Any other comments? I love Economic Development Week, and we're going to all the food places. One insurance place, but, we were at the grocery store this morning. 100 years is a long time. I know they haven't been at that location for 100 years, but they did a great job renovating that. It's been there for a very long time, and it's really a community shopping store where you, every time I go there, I run into somebody I know. So it's definitely an anchor for our community, and I'm so glad it's been there for all the time that it has been since, I think, the 80s. So it's been there for, maybe longer than that. 83? Was it? It was 83. Okay, that's a good while. Okay, so, and the beautiful State Farm Insurance Building at the corner there at Hickory and Broadway, lovely building, brought back to life. Another great place. And tomorrow I'm looking forward to Savona and the Greek Village. So lunch is going to be at one of those two places.
I will be buying a loaf of bread.
Yes. Anyone else? All right. May I have a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
Do I have a second?
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
All right, we are adjourned.